Hey YouTube, and I'm back with yet another deck. So this deck that I'm going to be doing today is a Froggy Monarchs variant. I've played Monarchs in the past. This format is not beneficial to them. I find that tempo decks are just too slow. There's too many OTK decks, or decks that are just getting way too much sick advantage for it to be great. But I've came to a list that seems to have a chance, and so I'm going to share that with you. So, Froggy Monarchs, obviously, Ronin Totems, 2, 3 Swap Frog, 3 Dupe Frog, 2 Treeborns. Now, a card that I find is very good in Monarchs, that a lot of people have said is good in Monarchs, it's true. Gen X Ally Birdman is a great card in Monarchs. It allows you to reuse your Monarch straight up. You have a Monarch in play, you return it to your hand, you replay it over the Birdman, no loss. But it also gives you a chance to get some Synchro monsters. Save your Monarch, Synchro into something, then come back. Having a Monarch in reserve just in case something happens. I run Triple Fader. Fader is a great card in Monarchs. It helps you stay alive. If your opponent's about to kill you, they will not see a Fader coming. Fader is a very unplayed card in this format. Now, solution. Playing against a Swarm deck, Dark Dust Spirit. This guy is amazing with Treeborn Frog. You can play him every turn, and he destroys everything else that's even the remotest bit threatening. Vanity's Fiend. Vanity's Fiend is a card that a lot of Monarchs players I know have played, but I haven't seen them being played in a lot of the decks that people are recommending on YouTube. Vanity's Fiend is a great card. There are very, very few decks that are equipped to deal with it. And if you get it out there early, say on turn 2, and your opponent doesn't have an answer for it, it's going to keep you on the board and your opponent off the board, which will usually get you a victory. Standard. Standard. Not standard. I'm running a Mobius in addition to the 6 normal Monarchs because I find Mobius is a surprise factor that a lot of people don't see coming. Yes, Heavy Storm is back, and it was a lot more of a surprise last ban list that he would get in there and destroy 2 Speller Traps, but also he can be used as a pitch for your Swap Frog because he's a water monster. I just find that he's a great card in Monarchs because the largest problem you have is your opponent destroying your shit with traps. Now, a card that I have undervalued forever. Light and Darkness Dragon. Why am I playing it in Monarchs? Because I can get it out there with a Treeborn and a Rodent Totem. And in looking at a whole bunch of YouTube videos, there's a lot of truth behind how good Light and Darkness Dragon is. Light and Darkness Dragon will shut down a lot of decks right now. And if it gets destroyed, well, oh well. You get back a Monarch. A Monarch is of a big enough size this format for it to matter. Gore's pretty much self-explanatory, like another Battle Fader. I run one main deck DD Crow. Not quite sure why. I just find that the odd DD Crow will be very, very useful if you draw it. I mean, mising it is very rare, but there's enough graveyard reanimation with everybody playing Monster Reborn. A lot of people playing multiple Call of the Haunted since it's no longer on the list, that a DD Crow is warranted. Also, a lot of the decks that are out there that are great revolve around the graveyard. Now, it just makes me happy to be able to play this guy. Obelisk is a terrible card. It's terrible in the fact that in order to get it out there, you have to have a really great game state. And there are quite a few cards that will just outright kill it. But there are some decks that just can do nothing to it. It can't be negated. Your opponent can't do much other than deprison it. There aren't any attackers out there that'll actually deal with it. And getting 3 monsters in play to tribute isn't that hard, considering Treeborn Frog and Rona Totem, plus any other thing that you've left stick to the board, maybe a Monarch. Obelisk will help you in certain situations and kill you in others. But I find that he's worth the risk in the fact that he will win the game if he sticks. Staple. 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 A staple in Monarchs. 1 Call of the Haunted because a lot of people won't see it coming. And 2 Spirit Art Owie. The extra deck. Magical Android. Ancient Fairy Dragon. Thrashula. Scrap Dragon. Brionic. Catastar. Black Rose. Colossal Fighter. Armor Stardust. And for the XYZs, Utopia. Leviair. Leviair because the Gen X allies will allow you to bring them back because they usually get removed. Their ability removes them. Leviathan. Pretty much self-explanatory. And Gachi Gachis. Gachi Gachi. Mystic Shine Ball has shown how good this card can be. I figured why not, all the frogs are level 2 anyways. And that's the deck. Let me know what you think, if you have any improvements. I'm really open to discussion on this deck.